Hello, my friends on YouTube. Today we're going to talk about, since there is not so much happening on the news, I've been thinking about um, speaking about unmasking the face of Muhammad, the founder of the Islamic ideology and Islam. I wanted to speak first about a woman. Her name was Asma bint Marwan. However, this woman, many of the Muslim imam or scholar, call them scholar if you wish, um, they try to deny the reality of this woman because it's so outrageous what Muhammad had done to murder a woman while she is nursing her baby. The baby is suckling, her baby was suckling, and then he gets her killed. So I put this aside. I'll do more research on it. However, if, when I do it, I will probably have to include some Muslim scholars. They brag of how she was murdered, that this was a noble thing to kill those who do not agree with Muhammad. So, but some of them, they try, they can see the gruesome activity in this story. So they try to push it aside and say, no, 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 no. This story was told by a guy that is not a trustworthy person, so we don't think the Prophet will do that. If the Prophet would not do that, he did worse stuff. But if he wouldn't do that, why would the Muslim make a story and stick it in the Islamic text? Must have some, at least some reality to it. They may have exaggerated a little or some, but he did these things and he did even worse. So today we are not going to talk about Asma bint Marwan, but we are going to unmask Muhammad and the, the, the evil that Muhammad had done while he was here on earth. Starting the first part, talking about uh, Ka'b ibn al-Ashraf, a person, his name was Ka'b ibn al-Ashraf. He was assassinated by 5 gangsters. Muhammad sent them to kill him, to murder him, to assassinate him. Who was Ka'b ibn al-Ashraf? Ka'b ibn al-Ashraf was one of the wealthiest people in Arabia back then. His father was of the influential Arabian people. However, his mother was a Jewish woman. And therefore, according to the Jewish tradition, when the baby is born, he follows his mother's religion. So even though I really don't know if his father was Christian, or because there was a huge Christian community in Arabia before the coming of Muhammad. I don't know if his father was Christian or non-religious or idolater. I don't know. But because his mother was a Jew, Ka'b ibn al-Ashraf was a Jewish man. What sets Ka'b ibn al-Ashraf aside from the rest of the people of Arabia and the Jewish people? Few things. First, he was very well educated. Most Jewish people, actually, especially those with money, they like to invest in their children. They like to educate them, give them good education. And therefore, Ka'b ibn al-Ashraf was very well educated, and he was very well aware of the surrounding cultures because he was also a merchant. So he visited many of the neighboring countries whom he would do business with them. Um, and he was very handsome, very tall, very handsome. So you have that well educated, and he was a very famous poet. So, like, in a way, any woman probably in Arabia would love to have him as her husband. He's wealthy, he can provide and provide well. He lived actually in a castle. He is well educated. He's a good poet. So, what else would a woman want in her husband more than that? However, when you go to YouTube and try to find the Muslim sources about Ka'b ibn Ashraf, they try to give these attributes to him as it was in a negative manner. He lived in a castle, as if this is, I wish I can live in a castle. If I can afford it, I'll live in a castle. Who says no to that? He was wealthy. He didn't steal the money. He made it, and his family before him, his parents, made money. That's a family inheritance also. And who would say no to that? Well educated, poet, handsome. And when they give you the picture, he lives in a castle, it's like he's afraid. He's a coward. He had guards in his castle to guard his castle. They closed the doors of the castle at night. He dug a well so they can actually be self-sufficient. In case of attack, then they can draw water from underground without the need to go out to be open for attack. Don't we do that? Don't we do these things now? We have security alarm on outside near inside our home, and we push the buttons in case somebody breaks in. The police will be there in seconds. The guy, that was the technology available to him at this time. That was how a person would secure his home. And his home actually still, the foundation is still standing. You can go to YouTube and put Ka'b ibn Ashraf's home, a castle. He was living in a castle. Why Muhammad wanted to assassinate this man? What did he do? What was his crime? He actually had no crime, but he was so dangerous to stay alive because people knew that he is well educated. He's very aware of the surrounding. He knows history. He knows the surrounding religions. Okay. So when Muhammad came and said, I'm a prophet, he asked, show me, what do you have? Why are you a prophet? And of course, Muhammad will not be able to get a person of that status to believe him. I'm sure he told him, "Are you serious? You must be joking. Get out of here. Kid, beat it." So, did not play out very well with Muhammad, the attitude of Ka'b ibn al-Ashraf. He tried to get him to follow him. Follow who? You are illiterate. You don't know anything. You are just repeating nonsense. You stole some uh, Jewish scripture and Christian scripture and pretending that you are a prophet. Get out of here. And he started to write poem to defame Muhammad. That was the danger. That was his crime. He was Salman Rushdie at the time of Muhammad. As Ayatollah Khomeini put a price on Salman Rushdie's head, Muhammad wanted Ka'b ibn al-Ashraf's head. What happened in the past? The descendants of Muhammad are doing the same. ISIS, what ISIS is doing is exactly the same as what Muhammad did. Okay? So, Muhammad couldn't handle that much information coming out of that. Was like the poet back then, it was like the news media today. These were the influential people that if they tell the public, go right, the public will trust these people. They will go right. If they say go left, they will go left. So if this man could stand up and say Muhammad is a fake prophet, that's too dangerous. No one will listen or obey Muhammad. So Ka'b ibn al-Ashraf had to go. Not only Ka'b ibn al-Ashraf, all the poets at the time of Muhammad, and most of them were Jewish. We'll take them one after the other. We're starting with Ka'b ibn al-Ashraf. All of them, one after the other, Muhammad assassinated them, and he assassinated them in a very, very gruesome way. So, in the mosque, while they are praying, Muhammad calls, "Who is for Ka'b ibn al-Ashraf?" That was a sentence used back then. If I say, "Who is for this guy?" it means, "Who will get me his head?" Okay? That was a code. Who is for this person? Who is willing to kill this person? So one guy, his name is Muhammad bin Maslama, raised his hand. "Would you like me to kill him, Prophet of Allah?" "Of course, kill him. Kill him." Okay. 4 other people volunteered to go with this guy. One of them, his name is Abu Naila. This guy, in the Arabic tradition, he's a brother of Ka'b ibn Ashraf. He volunteered to kill his brother. He was not a birth brother, but they call it nursing brother. That means if a mother does not have enough milk, she would give her baby to another woman, and the other woman will nurse the baby, her baby and the other baby. And therefore these 2 children, they will be either 2 brothers or 2 sisters, or a brother and a sister. They cannot marry each other. If they are a boy and a girl and they fed from the same breast, then they cannot marry each other because they are then brothers and a brother and a sister. So one of the volunteers was his brother. I'm from Egypt, and in Egypt we have a saying for that. We say this is a person from a base society, not a good person, like from the bottom of hell, to volunteer to kill your brother. But when you hear the Muslim clerks reciting the story on YouTube, they make it as that was a courageous act. No, it's not. If you volunteer to kill your brother, you're a betrayal person. You betray your brother. You are a very disgusting person. Okay, even animals don't do that. Alright? So 5 people went to assassinate Ka'b ibn al-Ashraf. And the first guy, Muhammad bin Maslama, asked the Prophet of Islam, the founder of this religion of Islam, let me say something. That was also another code, means let me say bad things about you in front of the guy that we are going to kill, Ka'b ibn al-Ashraf, so he can trust me. So Muhammad, the Prophet of Allah, told him, say whatever you want. If you want to say I'm a bastard, go ahead. Say whatever you want. Most important thing, get me his head at any cost. You can say whatever you want. Okay. I will say whatever I want. So 5 of them went to the castle where Ka'b ibn al-Ashraf lives. They called him. He came down. First they told him, we need to borrow some money. Why do you want money? Because we have to pay Muhammad. He is putting taxes on us and his headache, and we want to avoid his headache. We just want to pay the money and get him out of our way so we can continue doing the work we are doing. Just please lend us the money. Anyway, the long story short, the guy gave them the money and they went on their way. Then when they went to collect the money, they called him. So the man, his brother is with them, so he didn't think that his brother will kill him. Alright? He went down. They slaughtered him. They slaughtered the man. Why? Because he has a different opinion from Muhammad. If you say anything different from Muslim, you will be killed. You will be murdered. That was then, and it is until today. Okay? Why do the Muslim want to establish Sharia law? Because if you say anything against it, you are to be killed. If you leave Islam, you are to be killed. Alright? So they killed the guy in the middle of the night and they sat back, go home. Muhammad is waiting for them. And when they came, it was like the morning, the dawn time. So they started to say, Allahu Akbar. Muhammad with them, Allahu Akbar. They killed the guy. They slaughtered him. And Muhammad was so happy. Because now my opposition is less. It's not less by an average person. This was a great success for the side of evil or the side of Muhammad. That was the Prophet of mercy. He had done so many atrocities like this. I'm starting with Ka'b ibn al-Ashraf. Please, when you Google that name or you go on YouTube and put this name, there are many videos about him. Try to read what is between the words as these Muslim clerks are giving the story. They are trying to wash it down, to make it as if it was a glorious thing that the Prophet had no choice but to do that. No, it was a criminal, and Muhammad was a criminal. It was a criminal act, and Muhammad was a criminal person. Thank you very much, and we appreciate your comments. And if you have any questions or any suggestions, please let us know. Thank you very much. We will see you again.